Right, so today's planting was supposed to go in Dia de los Muertos, or realistically on the night of Dia de los Muertos and All Souls Night, but I unfortunately had a series of encounters with wildlife which put me off doing it then. So while I was digging the hole, I accidentally bisected a blindworm, and then as I was going to fill a bucket to sort of pre-soak the hole, I accidentally kicked a toad. The toad was in much better shape than the blindworm after that, and then I got hit on the head by a rather grumpy owl while I was trying not to squash a frog with a bucket. So I decided I would put it off, and so what I'm going to do, because this is actually in a place where I've already done a planting, and I have lost said planting twice actually. This was originally a Cypress from Alsophila, which is the American queen palm, and then I replaced that with a Persea americana, which is the avocado, and both of them succumbed to drying out and dying. And I think part of the reason for that is this is a much more exposed site than I really thought about at the time, because even though it does get shaded from the north, for part of the year, once the sun comes up sort of by sort of late winter, it is toast here. And then also, this is quite an alkaline spot because there is a termite mound that used to be here, and I hit that while digging today, so there is a drainage issue now as well. So I'm going to plug that with a little bit of bamboo leaf, and then sort of layering that with soil so that it doesn't drain the water straight through. So then we should have decent drainage from those holes, but not a complete inability to hold water from them. And that will create a slightly more alkaline soil, which is actually favourable for today's planting, which is Anacardium, which is a Central American tree, which is one of the various sapotes, sometimes called sapotea or chiku, and it's supposed to be a very pleasant fruit. It's also supposed to be a very tolerant tree. It's one I've been looking for a while, and was really pleased to see it very affordably at one of my local nurseries. It can be quite tender for the first couple of years, but once it's established, it's really wind tolerant, so this should be a good site for that. It's really sun tolerant. It tolerates a really wide range of water. It shouldn't really need any additional watering once established. It does create a very dense canopy, so it's not great for mixed plantings unless you're using it as a sub canopy, but again, it does like quite a lot of light, and it does tolerate quite a lot of light once mature. While it's young though, it doesn't want full sun. It can burn very easily, so I'm going to counter this by surrounding it with a lot of new Plantingus Dracaena to add into that. So we're going to go with 3 heads of Dracaena fragrans to create a nice little sort of dense thicket for it. This is something that has worked quite well with the lychees that have survived, and so I'm hoping it'll work for this too. Then we're also going to be adding in a couple of pieces of Alocarpus and some pieces of the Calico Fetchingcois, just so it's nice and dense around here, and it's sheltered for the beginning, and it can grow out through that once it matures. This is a relatively windy spot. This is a relatively exposed spot. It will have a couple of other trees I've planted coming up on its southern side, but those should all get rather larger than this will get readily, so they shouldn't be too bothered by the very dense shade it will create down below. And that should be everything for today, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it, and if you haven't enjoyed it, thank you for watching anyway. Please tune in again tomorrow, because I will be planting something different. Actually, that'll be later today, but it'll probably end up going up tomorrow, but we'll see.